Hi. So I'm so glad to hear Chris's story because it's kind of it kind of helps give me clarity to my story. Um, so this is going to sound kind of crazy, but my ex I was with 6 years, and it's just come to an end because of COVID, really. So I'm in this place where I don't know what to do because this is a new situation that no one has any clarity on. So I would love to hear in the chat too. Lately, I've been thinking a lot about Tom Hanks. And I know that sounds crazy, but I am identifying with one of his characters. Now, I wish it was Sleepless in Seattle or You've Got Mail, even Toy Story. But unfortunately, I feel like Tom Hanks in Castaway. I feel like I'm in the ocean, suspended in time, screaming for Wilson. So I'll go back 6 years to about the day today. I met my ex. I was 24 years old. I had saved a lot of money. I'm from a place near Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And I just felt a little empty. So I decided at 24, this was the time before Instagram, social media. I just wanted to see more of the world. So I decided I want to see an elephant. More than that, I want to give an elephant a bath. So I Googled, where can I do that? Thailand popped up. So at 24, I saved every penny I had and I decided that's what I was going to do. To pay back my mother, I bought a ticket for my mom to come with me to London. I spent time with her for a week. She went home, and then I realized I was in the world by myself. So I went from London and I went down to Paris. I traveled through Europe a little bit, and I ended up in Brussels. And in Brussels, I had a very unfortunate night where I was followed by a drunken man for a good couple hours and spent 2 hours hiding in a McDonald's bathroom. And I realized I do not want to go to Thailand and be stuck in this situation. So 2 days before I went to Thailand, I booked a welcome trip where I was going to have a tour guide and 10 days of a group that was going to take me around so I wasn't lost in a new country. I didn't know anyone that had ever been in Asia. So I got to Thailand and I saw my tour guide and I ran directly into his arms, gave him a big hug, and his first words to me is, "Oh, we're hugging." And I thought, oh, that was a little weird. But I knew we had some kind of connection, left it go. So 10 days, I was with 9 Europeans, and you don't realize what a language barrier you have, even with Europeans, until you're there. I felt like the outsider. I felt like I was still all alone. But we had a great time. I became very close with these 10 people. But I thought my tour guide, I'm definitely the least favorite. I'm the American. I'm the annoying one. Last day of the tour, we get very drunk. And the first person in my entire life that I have ever kissed first was my tour guide. I ran up to him and I made out with him on the beach. And he confessed all of his feelings for me. That since the first day, he thought that he was immediately in love with me. Now, at that time, I decided it was so cringy. Like, ugh, I'm that girl that makes out with my tour guide. I left and I decided I was never going to see him again. A year later, I go back to Indonesia to meet with a few women that I'd met to have this nice meetup. And I did not know my tour guide was living in Indonesia at the time. So he accidentally bumped into me at this bar. And he asked me out to lunch. And I just decided, oh no, that's over. There's nothing happening there. So I turned him down. And then he said, hey, my job has a villa. You should come. We can go dolphin watching. We can have dinner. We can do all this stuff. And I decided, no, I'm okay. I'll be all right. I turned him down the second time. So he went and asked my friend if I would come with him. So the four of us go to this villa, and I am so clueless. I didn't think he liked me. Went right over my head. I totally ignored him until he kissed me, and it made it very well known that he did actually want something with me. And that was the beginning of this relationship that was honestly, it was my life. He and I started dating. Our first date, we were in this villa. We went to this temple in Indonesia that was completely empty. We're watching the sunset. We're in this beautiful location. And I thought, like, this is better than any movie that I've ever seen. And that was our love story. Like, we really had everything. I thought, okay, this is just a little fling. This is just going to be a story to tell 10 years down the line. And then I was going to the Philippines next, and I decided to invite him to come along, and he came. So our second date, we had found this pirate in the Philippines that would take us to this private island for $150. So we gave him $100. And then we were supposed to meet the next day for him to take us to this island. So we get there at 8 a.m. and he's nowhere to be found. I'm with this new guy that, like, I kind of knew. We were in this new relationship, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're being taken for a ride. This guy's not going to show up. We gave him $100 in the Philippines. He's rich. He's gone. He shows up an hour later, and he says that he was late because he was watching a cockfight, and his rooster almost lost. But he ended up winning. So now we have extra money for more rum, and let's set sail. So I thought, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So this new guy, 2 weeks into a relationship, we're sailing into the South Asian Sea. We're going to this island, and it's full trust. Like, everything that we had in our relationship was very intense, very quick. But we get to this island, and we have this meal of fish and rum, and we're camping under stars, and there's no one else there. We go skinny dipping in the ocean, where not only are there stars above us, but there's phytoplankton, where when we swim through the ocean, it's bright blue, and it was like something out of movies. I never really trusted for it to stay as a serious relationship, but we did. For the next 6 years, we followed each other all around the world, and I really thought this was going to be the man that I marry. I thought this was going to be the man that, we're it forever. We've been through everything, not just the best things, but when we fought about feminism and Me Too, I stormed through third world countries by myself to prove that, I'm a woman by myself. Yeah, so we followed each other around for 6 years, and all of a sudden COVID happened. We were living together in New Zealand, and he had gone to Thailand for a job, and we were supposed to see each other in a month. And then COVID happened, and we couldn't see each other anymore. And we were separated. So for the last 5 months, we've been back and forth here and there. And now we found each other. Now we found ourselves separated by not just space, but time. There's this unknown suspense. So the breakup that I find myself in now is that it's not really our choice. This is very strange without an audience. I'm finding myself in this ocean of suspension where I think we'd be together if it wasn't for COVID. But with COVID, there's no fix. So I feel like forever I'll be stuck with the thought of what if. What if we could have been together? What if we could have fixed something? But now I just feel like I'm here floating in this ocean and we're moving in separate paths. So here I am as Tom Hanks in the ocean with this person that's been the only witness to my life, that's been all over the world. And I'm just screaming for Wilson, and he's floating away, and I just have to move on.